For the final time in 2025, it's Big 12 basketball here on ESPN Plus from Manhattan, Kansas. An unusually warm afternoon for December 31st. The fans have filled it out in Bramlage, and it's the first matchup, the only matchup of the year between the Bearcats and the Wildcats. Courtside with you, Brian Smoller along with Missy Heydrich, and Hannah Whetstone will join us here in just a moment. A Big 12 battle here to begin. At least it feels like the new year, with the new year ringing next week. And two guards that we'll open up talking about with here, Missy, that have so far starred for their respective teams out front.
Well, we've got two teams with multiple weapons, and for Cincinnati, it's been Maya Perry. The 5'11" native of Ohio is back in her home state and thriving. She leads the Bearcats in scoring at 18.4 a game, and it's just not a three-point shooter. Even though she can absolutely drill it from deep, she's tough and experienced and very difficult to contain on all three levels. And for Kansas State, it has been the 5'10" freshman from Spain, and Gina Garcia. She is growing every time out in her role for the Cats. She started 12 of 14 games. She leads them in assists. She's averaging just under 7 dimes in the last 2 games. It's the decision-making, it's improving, and she's going to have to need to run the show this afternoon here at home for Kansas State to get their first Big 12 win of this 25-26 season.
Jeff Mitty says she's a sneaky good defender, as you see there with the steal. Garcia, part of a heralded freshman class for K-State. Cincinnati also had a heralded class. Both of these teams sport McDonald's All-Americans in top 10 recruiting classes. And it's the return of one of those McDonald's All-Americans that we send it to Hannah Whetstone for more on. Hannah?
Well, thanks so much, Brian. 5-star recruit and Ohio native Dee Alexander's debut was highly anticipated by Cincinnati fans, but an ankle injury kept her sidelined for the entirety of both the summer and Cincinnati's non-conference schedule. Now, the Big 12 preseason freshman of the year finally made her debut in the red and black last week against Oklahoma State. Now, head coach Katrina Merriweather says right now Dee is proving that she is a phenomenal teammate and is putting the team before herself. She recognizes where we are as a team, and she just loves Cincinnati. Her coach says Dee understands right now it's more important for her to just show up than to show up and be great. Brian?
Thank you, Hannah. She's on the right side of that screen. She'll be one of the reserves coming in today for the Bearcats, who have a lot of freshmen on this roster. All right, Missy, keys to victory. Both teams young, both coaches lamented and praised their youth. So what is it today, the keys to success for these two teams?
These two rosters somewhat similar, but if you're Cincinnati, it's team defense. They got to communicate. You got to handle the screening action, and you're going to have to run K-State off that three-point line. Sharing is caring. Ball movement is critical for their offense that cannot stick this afternoon. If you're Kansas State, it's the board shares. This Bearcats are one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the league. You got to block out at all 5 spots. And the disrupt and deliver. They got to generate some turnovers today, and then you've got to convert on the other end. It's intensity and pressure on defense for 40 minutes.
Ready to go in center circle, Brian Hall, our lead official, Julie Kromanek, Keisha Thompson, round out our Big 12 veteran crew. Set to go, pretty good crowd for an afternoon game on New Year's Eve. $5 tickets today for K-State. And the Wildcats in white win the opening tip-off and have the possession to begin. Cincinnati in their road black uniforms with white numbers, and here is the K-State lineup that has been somewhat the same the last few games. Cotton called for a travel in the middle of the defense and will turn it over. The Bearcats are missing at least Kalia DeVillasi to start. The freshman out of Owing Mills, Maryland, is a game-time decision. She is not in the lineup to start. She was listed as doubtful yesterday of whether she would play.
She's missed the last 3 games, averaging over 16 points. She's had 2 double-doubles. Twice she's been named Big 12 Freshman of the Week. They say they are just so much better when she is on the floor. How now, if you're Cincinnati, do you handle some different looks defensively? Jeff Mitty talked about it with us earlier this week, that they know they've got to throw some different looks. They start here in zone.
Cincinnati has not been a great three-point shooting team, 33%. They do have some sharp shooters, but only average about 6 threes a game. Drive into the paint, a shot missed, and the rebound to Taryn Sides, who, despite her diminutive size, averages nearly 5 boards a game. Entry feed by Harad, not great. Knocked away by the Bearcats.
And that's one thing Cincinnati will do. They're going to pride themselves on their defense. They want to be active. They're going to make you also feel uncomfortable all afternoon.
Offensive rebound, key to your point to start the game. A second chance opportunity for the Bearcats, but then State able to get quickly up the court. Garcia, the receiver of that pass from sides, had it knocked away.
And you're going to see pace. We are going to see a lot of pace here this afternoon. At times when Kansas State has thrived through the course of their non-con, Brian, we've seen it multiple times. Jeff Mittie knows they've got to get out and run. They want to create offense with their defense, but when they can push in that break, even get secondary opportunities from the perimeter, they are at their best. Cincinnati loves to play fast. They want to get out and go. They're going to put up a lot of shot attempts. You've got to be prepared.
Cotton, face-up jumper. That is her shot, and she starts the game with a make.
You're going to need that from the 6'1 sophomore. She had 10 points. She was 5 of 9 from the field in the loss at TCU before the Christmas break. She's got to be able to be effective in the pick-and-roll game and in that mid-range jumper.
Has played her best games against ranked opponents, against 12th ranked North Carolina, and then in the game against 8th ranked TCU. She had 10 points on a lot of those mid-range jumpers just like that from the baseline and the wing. Back to the zone for K-State. Perry running the point, trying to decipher it here. Crawford, one of those freshmen that have been banged up, back with 18 in the last game against Oklahoma State, and the loss of the shot clock by Perry and company means a turnover.
One thing that Katrina Merriweather talked to us about earlier this week is just the fact that this Cincinnati squad, because of the amount of injuries, because of the young faces they have on this roster, that they have been limited in what they can do practice-wise. You lose that time and opportunity. I would say one of those things in the practice game, Brian, zone offense.
No doubt. I mean, you get to a point where, because of bodies and repetition, as Coach Merriweather said, you just got to try and do what you do and figure it out from there.
You got to stick with your system, and I think that's especially what they're able to capitalize on defensively. The struggles are when you see different types of defense and different looks on the offensive end.
Klassens, who can't shoot the three, unable to hit, and then Harad over the back trying to get an offensive rebound called for her first.
We talked about Kansas State needing to box out, but also if you're the Cincinnati squad, they've got to be one and done. They do not want to give the Wildcats extra possessions, whether it's putbacks or extending that shot clock for additional looks.
Perry forced to bring the ball up, gives it up to Torrance. Picked up her dribble in a bad spot, but bailed out by Crawford. And a hand check foul on the wing by Klassens. That'll be her first.
We talked about Maya Perry at the top. She's coming off 21 points. She went 4 of 9 from behind the three-point line in their loss to Oklahoma State before the Christmas break. So K-State's got to run her off that three-point line, but she is not just a three-point shooter. She's going to be quick off the bounce. You've got to be able to contain.
Jackson, her mid-range jumper does not go. And the rebound to the ground and a tie-up there between Klassens and I think Thomas, no, it is Jackson or Torrance, and it will be Cincinnati basketball.
Kylie Torrance is the 6'2 freshman. She is back in the lineup. Number 10 did not play against Oklahoma State, has started 12 games so far this season, back in the lineup today.
Torrance with it. Now Crawford, who had 18 against the Cowgirls. Coming back from injury. Drive. Jackson's shot does not go. Another side's rebounding. Again, the secondary break by K-State. Cincinnati gets back. And it's the half-court set. Again, Cotton. The mid-range.
If you're Janessa Cotton, you're going to take those shots all day. They're going to give you those looks. But it's about broken plays and opportunities. That's where K-State's got to capitalize.
Got the steal. Garcia comes out of traffic with it. No look pass. Drop off to Klassens, who couldn't hit the shot. It goes off the foot of a Bearcat, and it's K-State basketball.
And this phonetic pace playing right into the hands, I think, right now of what K-State wants to be able to do. You got to continue to make Cincinnati uncomfortable. They've done it with full court pressure and then making them have to kind of question themselves in their offense in the half court against the zone.
Isela Arenas, the Louisville transfer, a sophomore, is in for sides. She'll be the one to put it in. Caught and a travel. Got a little too amped up.
And we are getting our first look now at Dee Alexander, who has come into the ball game, the 6'2 freshman. Hannah mentioned her earlier. She logged 16 minutes, 6 points, 2 steals at Oklahoma State before the break. How effective can she be? Can she help break this pressure and find some openings against the zone?
There's Alexander with it. Ball poked away from behind by Klassens. Spicer tried to save it. rolled around on the touchline or on the baseline, and it's out of bounds to Cincinnati.
And that's the explosiveness that Dee Alexander has and has had in her game. Is one of the top recruits in the nation coming out of the class of 2025 in high school. You're going to see some of that today, maybe just in spurts, but she almost definitely has it.
Right now, you've got the two star players for these two respective classes in the game. Alliance and Diva able to turn and score the first basket for the Bearcats.
Mismatch came with Garcia on the switch. Big little, Cincinnati takes advantage.
Spicer, who was the crown jewel of K-State's recruiting class, unable to hit her first shot. In transition, Jackson through the lane to Perry, and the three-pointer just doesn't go down. He'll be a run out the other way. Here's Alexander underneath, body control in the lane, and quick two baskets by the Bearcats to tie the game.
Long rebound, not corralled. We talked about how the Bearcats love to get on the offensive glass. Second chance opportunities, those are backbreakers.
Back to the offensive end. It's been Cotton that scored the 4 points for K-State to this point. Garcia drive and a kick. Spicer a side three, can't hit.
Both threes by the freshman now have been well contested by Cincinnati. They are going to get a quick contest and hand up.
Cotton a tough shot, or Crawford a tough shot, and the rebound to K-State. Spicer driving on Alexander and a blocking foul on Dee Alexander. So the two that are familiar with each other from their time in the McDonald's All-Star Game, the Nike and the Jordan Brand Classic, all those All-Star games from the AAU circuits going one-on-one. This time it's Spicer who draws or able to get the contact in the heart.
And if for this Kansas State offense, you need Jordan Spicer to get involved. She has got to be more of an impact scorer now that you have hit Big 12 play. Played 18 minutes on the road in Fort Worth against TCU, just 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 5 from 3.
Spicer tries straight on. That one true. Prior to that 1 of 7 effort against TCU, she had been hitting around 40% of her threes through the month of November and December. So starting to come around a little bit from behind the arc. A gifted shooter from long distance, but also starting to show some post-up ability inside. Perry tries that wing three again and answers K-State's three with one of her own.
She's one of the top 3-point shooters in this league, but also top 10 in Big 12 in scoring. So you have got to know where Maya Perry is on the floor if you're this Wildcat defense.
Cotton hands off the sides. Free throw line, little floater, back iron, no. The rebound to Cincinnati. Jackson outlets quickly to Perry. Debo will come help her out. And again the zone for K-State. Perry trying to shoot him out of it. Anaya Foy in for the first time for K-State. Sees a hole, drives, has it blocked by Alexander.
That's a tough matchup. If you are Foy, you're going to have to be able to find another way to score in the post. Big bodies, long arms.
Alexander, three-pointer does not fall. It comes right to Jackson. She can't get it to go. And Cincinnati thinking there's a lid on the basket right now. 3 out of 14 from the floor.
And they have had good looks, whether it's been in the framework of this offense for Coach Merriweather. And now Arenas able to answer with the three. It's a quick trigger from the sophomore, but she gets it to go.
Arenas, again, the Louisville transfer, instant offense off the bench, and now Foy with a steal. Out the sides, corner three, no, with a rebound in Diba.
These first 6+ minutes that we've had here, played at a pace that both of these teams, I think, like to be at. But what we've seen is the miscues, especially from Cincinnati, all at inopportune times.
Foy gets the rebound off a three-pointer miss. She'll bring it up for K-State. Spicer the extra pass. Wanted to get Arenas with another look, but it's pickpocketed by Perry. Perry, who leads this team in steals with her 26th of the year. Another long jumper put up, and a late whistle and a foul. It's going to be called on Foy as Jackson, the veteran, able to be run into, and Foy gets called for the personal. But Foy, instant impact off the bench, and has been this last few weeks. More on her from Hannah when we return.
Welcome back to Big 12 basketball here on ESPN. Well, one Wildcat whose game has really started to come on in the last few weeks is K-State guard Anaya Foy. Head coach Jeff Mitty was praising her athletic ability, telling us about a drill they've been doing in practice, lowering the rim just a few inches, and Foy is dunking off of 2 feet. But he added, on the court, she's unlocking more and more of her capabilities mentally and has improved so much in these last few weeks, and we'll look to see that on display here this afternoon.
One of the things coaches talk about is this break, the winter break, that you get school set aside for a time and just work on basketball, and can see some large steps forward by some young players, and Foy one of those. That they knew when they recruited her there was the potential to be a dynamic presence in the Big 12, and she's starting to show that. Coming off 7 points, the season high 19 minutes against TCU in the game down in Fort Worth. Ramaya White in for the first time inside, trying to match up with Destiny Thomas, but good work by the Bearcats to get it inside for the bucket.
You've got to be able to get ball movement, and that's one thing that the Cincinnati coaches continue to preach to this group, is that they cannot let that ball stick.
Tess Heel left open, couldn't hit the three. White trying to bat the rebound over to a teammate. It falls to Perry. A lot will be on the shoulders of Perry, who came in as the season leader in minutes played in the Big 12, 35 plus. Long three put up by Crawford. It's saved by the Bearcats. Back to Perry. Thomas fouled inside.
And yet another offensive rebound. Hustle plays right now being won by Cincinnati. They're going to get themselves back at the free throw line, but it's been great movement without the basketball, using that pick and roll, finding the gaps, whether it's against the zone or if a mistake and a mismatch happens by Kansas State's man-to-man defense. You've got to take advantage, and that's where Cincinnati finding that bucket. Going into that first timeout of this first quarter, Cincinnati was just 1 of 7. So they've had shot attempts, Brian. It's just a matter of getting them to go.
Now they get to the free throw line and start to try and add some points there. Big day on ESPN Plus for the Big 12. Later, Baylor, Oklahoma State. Get the opening weekend of conference action with some games before the break, but this is the first post-holiday break.
A huge offensive rebound right there by Kylie Torrance, the freshman, keeping that possession alive. And it looks as though this foul now on a loose ball is going to go against D. Alexander.
Yep.
But that offensive board came from Kylie Torrance, the All-State High School selection, one of the top shot blocker right now for this Cincinnati squad. You see the ability to get off the floor quickly. That's what they want.
Turnover's the story here early. Cotton had some early points knocked away. She tried to line up Spicer for a three. K-State used to live off of the gravity of Ayoka Lee, but you're seeing Cotton now try to play that role after some early jumpers, trying to pull people in instead of shooters.
Well, and you've got to be able to get ball movement. And again, I think it's the same for both of these teams. If the ball sticks, that's where they are easy to guard. And that's where it's going to get really difficult for Kansas State to find offense. You've got to get movement, whether it's off the dribble drive, you get downhill, you find shooters. But that gravity, so to speak, doesn't necessarily have to be just with your post players. You can step out and force Cincinnati to have to guard you on the perimeter. We've seen Cotton knock down the 15-footer. More of those opportunities need to be there.
Cotton's going to come out after picking up a foul. Already 5 for K-State in the first quarter. So Cincinnati to the free throw line. And it'll be D. Alexander, who has 2 fouls at the charity stripe. And she'll make the first. And I mentioned it, number 11 overall recruit in the country, 5-star recruit, the first ever in the history of the Cincinnati program.
Big 12 preseason freshman of the year, coming in with high expectations, but understands what those are. She's a hometown kid, wanted to be part of this Cincinnati program, trying to figure out what her role is going to be in Big 12 play.
Garcia with a little Euro step, trying to draw a foul, is not going to get the whistle. The ball went out of bounds to K-State and played in underneath the basket.
And at this pace, what we're seeing is the ball is kind of flying all over, and you're going to have to make a hustle play. Crawford tries to make it there, can't keep it in bounds. Kansas State now with the possession here on the other end of the floor.
2 threes for K-State out of 7 tries. Sides the baseline. Difficult shot and a rebound to Perry for the Bearcats.
They are going to have a hand in the face of Terrence Sides all afternoon.
Perry to the baseline, steps around a defender, couldn't hit the shot. Offensive rebound by Thomas, put up and in.
The 6'4" senior, really the quiet leader. She was out a year ago recovering from injury, but is finding her voice and her role here for Cincinnati.
All but down for Spicer to try and get another three. Instead, it's the Bearcats by 3 as we near the end of the first quarter. K-State will have the ball first to begin the second unless we get a tie-up. Perry on heel, the way to the basket, and one for Maya Perry.
Not just a three-point shooter, the top threat for the Bearcats coming into today, but the coaches talked about it. She is a 3-level scorer. She wants to put it on the floor and create, averaging 18.4 a game coming in. She's been in double figures every game so far this season, and right there you can see why she is so difficult to get stopped.
Perry to the free throw line where she's 78% from the stripe. Second all-conference last year at Florida Atlantic. Averaging 15.5 a game, wanted to take her game to the next level in the Power 4. And here she is as a senior starring for the Bearcats. And it's a 16-10 Bearcat lead on a 9-0 run. Does K-State have an end of the quarter answer? Difference of about 11 to 12 seconds in the game clock and shot clock. Parade. Dangerous pass to Garcia, back to Spicer, and she steps out of bounds. A turnover, the 5th for K-State in the quarter. That coupled with foul trouble, and the Wildcats will have to defend this last few seconds, a near 4-minute stretch where they have not scored.
And those are the mental mistakes that you are trying to eliminate, and that Jeff Mitty has been talking with his team that they cannot afford. Close games, you cannot have those kinds of breakdowns.
Perry, pressure to the backcourt. Crawford trying to dribble it up away from pressure. 5 seconds to go in the quarter. Crawford wanting to go one-on-one, falls to the ground, no shot gets off for Cincinnati. K-State's defense does enough to frustrate Katrina Merriweather's team, but the Bearcats on a 9-0 run take a 6-point lead to quarter 2.
Would you ask for more wild stuff? And an incredible catch. Ridiculous. What a showcase event it'll be.
The college football playoff quarterfinals begin tonight and continue tomorrow.
The college football playoffs begin tonight, as a matter of fact, on the ESPN family of networks. In the meantime, it's women's basketball in the Big 12. Full slate of games today on ESPN Plus, one tomorrow. And after one quarter of play, Taryn Sides and her team down 6, a 9-0 run currently for for Cincinnati, heading into quarter number 2 as K-State searches for some solutions. They have not scored in nearly 4 minutes.
2 things that you have to circle on the stat sheet, Brian. 5 Kansas State turnovers, and they have been out-rebounded by Cincinnati here in this first half.
Rod does a good job of getting the offensive rebound, but as some bigs like to do, they bring it down, it gets knocked away. It'll stay with K-State with 16 on the shot clock.
And I think all of the threes that K-State has had, just 2 of 9 so far from deep, they have all been contested. That is an area of focus right now for Cincinnati. They gave up 17 made threes against Oklahoma State in that first loss in Big 12 play.
Arad trying to get the offensive rebound, fighting for it, and a step out of bounds by Torrance. Will give the ball right back to K-State. And watching that Oklahoma State game, Cincinnati chose the zone.
Yeah.
And the Cowgirls just shot them right out of it. Notably, Haley Tibber, who went off for 7 to 8 threes.
She hit 9 of 12, 35 points for Haley Timmer from Oklahoma State.
Klassen's top of the circle, unable to hit, and the rebound, good block out by Thomas.
And that's what, if you're Destiny Thomas, she's going to have to do here all afternoon. She's going to have to be big. You're going to have to chase down those long rebounds. They want to keep Kansas State off the offensive glass.
Nice screen out high for Crawford. Long three, way off the mark, and a rebound pulled down by Garcia. Cincinnati's been no better at threes. Long pass ahead to Haraj. She is fouled by Torrance.
And that type of pressure off a miss, you get out in transition. That's where Kansas State has got to play here in this second quarter. You've got to dictate more action. You've got to force Cincinnati to have to get back on their heels. And you think about the freshman and what Brandy Harrod has been able to do. She started every game so far. She's been the top rebounder for this Kansas State squad. She had 6 points and 7 boards in her first Big 12 action on the road at TCU. But they need a big day from her here so far. She has not been able to get in the scoring column.
Harrod has struggled at the line 41.5% of the season for a young lady that ranked number 38 in the nation in the prep rankings. Was getting committed to Auburn before a coaching change, and then she ended up landing with K-State. An offensive rebound for Tess Heel, however. The Wildcats are able to reset. Here's Harrod into the lane. No. Offensive tip try. No. A third offensive rebound for Harrod, and this time out of bounds. And now the officials will confer, and will give it back to K-State. Boy, Harrod doing a great job of padding the rebound stats, but can't get a shot to go. She'll get a breather, and it'll be Spicer instead of that power forward spot.
And that's that frustration factor, especially for freshmen, is that you see great shots, good looks, just can't get them to go.
Great feed on the inbound. Claessens knifing through, and Sides found her. So that ends what had been nearly 4.5 minutes without a basket or a point, and a tie-up as K-State's full court pressure frustrates the Bearcats. Arrow to Cincinnati.
And they have used it at different times, which I think is a good look if you're Jeff Mittie and what he needs to be able to do. To throw some different things at it. It's a little bit of everything that we've seen so far from this Wildcat defense, and it has kept Cincinnati back on their heels and a bit disorganized.
There's a throwaway on the inbound, and then Tess Heel bumped by Torrance. That'll be her second foul, both in this quarter. Heel with that mouth guard that looks like she's playing Australian rules football.
Just 4 turnovers for Cincinnati in that first 10 minutes. Now they have had 2 here to start this second quarter. They had 18 turnovers on the road against Oklahoma State in that first Big 12 game. So you've got to eliminate those mistakes, especially when you see that pressure. You got to anticipate.
Garcia trying to do it herself. Outlined her in the beginning, showing a little more offensive pop as of late. 9 points per game the last 2 games for the freshman point guard. Perry forced to go left by K-State. Fed into Ndiba. Turnaround shot is not there, but a foul on Claessens, and now she has 2.
It's a great job by Perry to be able to recognize that there's someone's going to be there. Too much help comes from Kansas State, and yes, Claessens is behind, but that's the difficult spot. You've got some physical mismatches here. If you're Nastia Claessens, you've got to be able to figure out a way to get around. You've got to go vertical, and the verticality is the name of the game, especially in the post.
Tough ball. Looking at the replay of that foul on K-State. Boy, not sure what else Claessens supposed to do. Claessens, or Ndiba, makes the first of 2 free throws. Ndiba, young lady from Congo, a junior college route. It's her second year with Cincinnati. She'll go 1 of 2 at the line, and the rebound to Spicer. 2 minutes into the second quarter. It's a 5-point lead for the Bearcats, who led by a half a dozen after 1. Garcia trying to get free, and an offensive foul called on an illegal screen on Claessens, and now all of a sudden K-State's second leading scorer has 3 fouls.
Yeah, Nastia Claessens coming in just shy of 11 points a game. You're going to see the screen there. A lot of contact as Crawford makes that. They make contact on that screen. She didn't necessarily move, but there was a bit of a hip shake. You create that contact, that's what's going to happen. And now, in kind of a mental mistake by Cincinnati, and they're going to give it right back.
Another turnover for Katrina Merriweather's team here in the second quarter. Sides out of the wing, grabbed by Jackson. Sides couldn't get a shot off, has to get out of there. He will not let Sides get a shot away. Here's Cotton. Back to Terrence. Sides' only looks have been from long threes. Jackson right up in her. Sides driving all the way to the basket. Layup. Good! And 1 for Terrence Sides.
She worked hard for that bucket right there, and is going to give herself a chance at the old-fashioned 3-point play. Coming into today, leading this Kansas State team and scoring at over 14 a game. They're not going to give her those looks from 3. She's going to have to be the aggressor. Puts her head down, draws the contact, gets underneath the defense, and Terrence Sides at the line for the 3-point play.
Ndiba with the body, calling for the foul. It's her first. 3rd on the Bearcats in this quarter. Into the free throw line is Sides, an 84% free throw shooter. She'll miss it, and the rebound Ndiba, because Sides was already ready to go from the line, and perhaps short of the free throw. Cincinnati breaks the pressure. Pull up for Perry. And the rebound out of bounds to Cincinnati.
The possession kept alive by Bird. The redshirt sophomore did not also play against Oklahoma State. There was a host of players for Katrina Merriweather that did not see action in the first Big 12 game before Christmas. Bird was one of them.
A revolving door with illness and injuries for the Bearcats, but they can get full strength. With everybody through injury and illness and practice time, that could be a team to be a force to be reckoned with. Perry, pull-up three, 9 now for the senior.
What you don't want to do is let Maya Perry get hot and get those easy touches. You cannot have miscommunications. You got to figure out, are you going to go over the screen or under, but you cannot give her that distance and space.
Side steps out as she tried to get free on the sideline. Another turnover by K-State, so now each side was 7.
If you're Terrence Sides, you're working hard. We said it on that last possession where she was able to get in, but she steps out of bounds, trying to create some distance from the defense, but you only have so much on this floor.
Crawford to Perry, the hot hand. K-State tries to wall her off and forces a travel.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup for the freshman Jordan Spicer. Maya Perry saw it right away. A bit of a mismatch, able to take her off the bounce, but gets to the help side by Cotton, and then she sees it come, drags that foot, goes the other way. Turnover on Cincinnati.
Yeah, good recover, good help defense by Cotton there. Sides left as a trailer, wide open, and she drills the three.
Might be the best look she's had so far in this first half. Miscommunication by the Bearcats, and Sides makes them pay.
And Ndiba at the middle of the court. K-State trying to avoid fouling and travel on Ndiba. Instead, she lifted the back foot for the 8th turnover by the Bearcats and the 4th of this quarter.
And this is where the pressure starts to disrupt, and it makes you uncomfortable. We talked about it at the very beginning, about how if you're K-State, you got to utilize your defense to help feed your offense. Give yourself extra opportunities. That can come on the glass, but can also from just making the Cincinnati team very uncomfortable, as they have been in the backcourt.
Sides down to the ground. Sides claiming she was hit in the throat. But a throw or fall to the ground by Jackson sees the offensive foul go against K-State. And look at this. Jackson has been a thorn in Sides' back pocket.
Yeah, she has been literally in her shorts all afternoon so far. That's the assignment, if you're Reagan Jackson, is that you do not want to give Terrence Sides anything easy.
She has frustrated the star guard of K-State. Wildcats have been in zone for much of this game. The Bearcats 2 out of 9 from behind the arc. Get to that high post. Jackson with it out high, guarded by Sides. Jackson into the lane, drops it off. Bird and her shot blocked, and a second time by Cotton.
You got to stay with the play defensively, and that's where Kansas State has had trouble throughout the course of the season. Is you can't just settle for the first one. You've got to stay with it till you can get that possession. They don't keep it, but it's just 6 on the shot clock now for Cincinnati.
Perry not guarded on the inbound, has to hurry, just does get it in. Back to Perry. Shot clock under 3. I think she just now sees it, fires it up, and it did not hit the rim. That'll be a shot clock violation, and K-State gets another shot clock violation forced and gets the gap raised on defense.
Those are big possessions right there, and it's getting a little chippy for any of you who's been able to see, whether that's Reagan Jackson and Terrence Sides, that matchup there. And Terrence Sides is going to get a breather. I think that's a great decision by Jeff Mitty. She's had a couple frustration possessions, but that's what happens. You're the top scorer on this K-State team. You are circled on the top of that scouting report, and everyone is going to key knowing getting her stopped is absolutely critical to playing with K-State.
Especially right now when you have Classens on the bench with 3 fouls, the second leading scorer for K-State. Garcia trying to sell that she was bumped out of bounds, will not get the call, and a turnover by K-State. Turnovers aplenty, 19 combined between these two teams.
Yeah, this has not been pretty basketball, but we knew this pace can generate these types of miscues from both teams.
Perry forced to give up the basketball. Under 5 to go in the first half. Crawford, another shot blocked by Cotton. Tried for a fourth and got the foul on Thomas. And that's 2 now on Janessa Cotton in this battle of attrition. Foul trouble starting to creep up a bit for K-State. Terrence Sides finally gets on track. The third 3 of the game for K-State. Pulls them within 3. Cincinnati with a 3-point lead here in the Little Apple, and defense has been good so far, getting foul trouble for K-State's Natasha Klassens and frustrating Terrence Sides. That's largely been the job of Reagan Jackson, who's on the right side of your screen with a reddish hair. And for more on Jackson, let's go to Hannah Whetstone.
Thanks, Brian. Reagan Jackson is the only Bearcat returner to start and play in every game last season for Cincinnati. Now head coach Katrina Merriweather says her experience is extremely valuable as the team enters conference play, saying Reagan is the only one who's actually been through the gauntlet of the Big 12, the travel, the crazy arenas, so she can speak to the rest of the team about what it actually looks and feels like. She said, we've got these really talented freshmen on our team, but they don't know what it's like to get on a plane, play a game, come back for 2 days, and then get on another plane and go play another road game. So that's where Reagan Jackson's experience comes into play for the Bearcats.
Now, I thought the Bearcats might stay out on this trip. They go to Colorado next, but they will fly back to Cincinnati tonight and then head to Boulder later this week. Both free throws good for Destiny Thomas, who has 5 points, the 6'5" center. K-State with the basketball. Spicer. Pass was a little tardy. She'll drive inside, try to lean in on Thomas, and get the friendly roll.
They ran her off that 3-point line. Off, and not a great pass by Garcia, but that's the assertiveness that Jordan Spicer has to play with here this afternoon.
I think you've seen it more and more. The more you watch Spicer, she's starting to recognize she's got more levels to her game than becoming a 3-level scorer.
Yeah, you can't just be a 3-point shooter, not in this league. You are too easy to guard, and Jordan Spicer is going to have to find different ways to score the basketball, especially against this kind of D.
Thomas, D. Alexander, who's in there with 2 fouls. She'll fall to the ground, the ball out of bounds, and they're going to say it's off of K-State.
Thomas goes in.
Oh,
I don't know. It looks as though they thought maybe it went off her leg, but it seems as though there will not be a challenge by Kansas State, so the possession stays with Cincinnati.
K-State very well could have challenged that call. You have to risk a timeout. Alexander fouled and then makes the shot. So not only does K-State not get the ball, they then commit the foul. That'll be Jordan Spicer with the personal, her first. And an and one coming for D. Alexander.
Yeah, 2 tough possessions right there if you're this Kansas State defense. Is that you get Alexander stopped, you think you have it. Spicer does stay straight up, but makes the body contact. And I think that's where the whistle comes in. Alexander misses the free throw, but yet another offensive board by the Bearcats.
Lost by Bird, and K-State comes the other way. Harad fumbled it and gets it to Garcia to set up offense for K-State. Harad trying to post up inside. 3-pointer instead taken by Spicer. That may have been a frustration shot. And here come the Bearcats. Alexander working her way through the paint. Cincinnati operating without Perry for a good portion here in the second quarter. Thomas just bowling her way in on Spicer.
Great entry by Alexander. They saw they had the mismatch, and Thomas had position deep. When you pin low, you've got to get your bigs the ball.
Heel trying to make something happen to the basket. Missed it with the left hand. Harad too strong, but right on the other side of the backboard was Spicer. She's got 7 to lead K-State. And now a steal. Heel, the benefit of a behind-the-back dribble that did not go well, and Heel gets her first basket.
We said you got to disrupt and deliver. You've got to get those turnovers and convert on the other end. Great defense and anticipation by Tess Heel.
That's 8 turnovers in this quarter by Cincinnati. 12 now for the game. Crawford. Tough shot.
The dribble drive penetration has been an issue all season for Jeff Mitty's defense, to be able to contain it not only from the perimeter, but to be able to get the rotations and help. Crawford takes advantage. They parted like the seas, and she's able to convert.
Garcia to Harad. Double team down on the block. Outlet to find Spicer. That three won't go. She'll get her own rebound. Harad into the paint. She'll drive and kick. Heel will take a three. That will drop.
Give it time and space. That's where Tess Heel is at her best from behind that three-point line. Run down long rebounds, get yourself second chances. Kansas State makes them pay.
Kansas State now has pulled within two. Answer three by Crawford, not there. Another offensive rebound to Bird. She's left wide open. Doesn't hit it. Battle underneath the basketball, or underneath the hoop. Foy with the steal, and then a foul, I think, on the Bearcats. It could be on Alexander, could be on Bird. And it's going to be on Alexander. That's her third.
A couple point-blank opportunities missed there. Great defensive hustle by the freshman to keep the possession alive. A hustle foul is going to come from D. Alexander. That is the third that will send her to the free throw line. But this K-State team just continuing to try to generate that intensity and that effort. You've got to get those 50-50 possessions. That's how you turn the tables on an opponent, especially here at home.
90 minutes left to go, or 90 seconds left to go here in quarter number two. Tess Heel's been a spark plug as of late for K-State. Harad taking a long jumper, no, and blocked out by Thomas. Gets the ball away from Cotton. Jackson now running the point. Sides back in for K-State. And a drive and a turnover by Torrance. And I don't know if you could hear it in the background, but Katrina Merriweather said, "What are you running?" to her young team.
And I think that's a big question, is that this K-State squad is kind of mixed it up. They've gone a few possessions, man. That possession back to the zone, you've got Cincinnati to stand. That's when they're easily guarded.
Sides trying to get free. Back to Garcia. And the ball tipped out will stay with K-State. Again, Classens has not played much. K-State's second leading scorer. She only has 2 points in 7 minutes in his first half, 3 fouls. So it's been a lot on the shoulders of Sides and company to try and find the scoring, and it's been a slow go offensively. Garcia fakes the shot, drops it off for Cotton, who lays it in.
Great decision making by the freshman. They came over on a double team off that high ball screen. And if you're Janessa Cotton, you cannot stand. Keep moving. That's where good things will happen.
Trapped on the corner on the sideline in a bad spot. Lucky to get out of it was Torrance. She has it back. Trying to work against Heel. Tough contested shot, not close. 10 seconds to play in the half. K-State looking for a lead. Pass ahead, and Torrance reads the pass. Finds Jackson. 4 seconds remain in the half. Now 1. Perry lets go a long three. It will be well short. And the half ends with K-State finishing on a 9-2 run to get back into this game and tie it up at 28 apiece. It was not pretty. 33% shooting for the Wildcats, but they finally got something going, forcing 13 turnovers, 9 of them in the second quarter by the Bearcats, to Hannah, who's with Jeff Mitty.
Coach, probably got the offense going there in the last few minutes. What do you make of your team's first half performance?
I thought it was awful. There's not any good way to play it. I don't like the way we're playing. I don't like we're not playing together very well. I mean, we got a lot of issues right now that have to get a lot better. I don't know any other way to put it, in that I did not enjoy that first half of basketball.
What would make you enjoy the second half?
Well, I saw some fight from some of the group that was out there, but that made me happy towards the end. But we got to play better together, and we got to start playing much, much better offensively, much more efficient offensively.
Great, appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Hard to please head coach, but 28 points is not going to cut it. Kansas State hopeful to get more in the second half. We'll talk Big 12 when we come back. At the half, on the final game of 2025 for Kansas State here at Bramlage Coliseum. It's all tied up at the half. A 9-2 run by K-State in the final few moments of that second quarter got the Wildcats tied with the Bearcats, who led at one point by as many as 7. All right, Brian Smolder, Missy Heidrich with you. Hannah Whetstone, we heard from at the half. We'll hear from her again. First reactions to what we saw. Boy, two young teams, we knew it could be a little bit awful at times, and it was. I mean, there's just really no way to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
A lot of turnovers, a lot of chaos. What were some positives for either side?
Well, 24 turnovers combined by these two teams. And we've got a lot of young faces who are learning and understanding what Big 12 play is going to be all about. If you're Cincinnati, you love the fact that they do one thing really well, and they are going to get to the glass. They are going to get themselves opportunities to get offensive rebounds. 15 of those right there by this Cincinnati squad in the first half. Kansas State knocks down 4 of 15 from behind the three-point line. I feel like those were good shots within the framework of what they need to be able to do. If you're Jeff Mittie, you're talking to his group, they've got to play better together. His frustration, I think, is the quick shots, maybe not sharing the basketball, not making that next pass, because that's where they are at their best. We saw opportunities where they can get out and run and play with pace. Good things happen. That's where they've got to be. That disrupt and deliver mentality, I think, has to be what you need from Kansas State in the second half. And Cincinnati, the same mentality, because they want to play fast as well, and they're really good when they can get out and go.
State, as you mentioned, almost like the passes were a second or two late. They need to be crisper, faster, perhaps that's maybe could help that offense move a little bit, and getting Classens back out on the court. We'll take a break, come back. The Big 12 busy today with some big games, one already in progress. We'll update you on scores and the schedule when we come back. Always a big hit here at the half. Someone blindfolded searching for cold, hard cash. Oh! Look at a little bit like what we saw in the first half of these two teams. A lot of misses and unorganized searching for offense and defense. Elsewhere in the Big 12 Conference, Houston searching for answers right now against Iowa State and Audie Crooks and company. It's 45-31 at the half. Crooks already with 13 points in that first half. Baylor, Oklahoma State about to tip off. Big story in that game, Talia Scott back for Baylor and in the starting lineups against a Cowgirl team that its time has looked awesome and other times has really been tough. We'll see how they do at home here against the Baylor Bears. So then Arizona State, Utah, UCF, Texas Tech, TCU, BYU, kind of an interesting one, and then Arizona, Colorado, West Virginia, Kansas tomorrow. Your thoughts here on what was scheduled today?
Well, you've got 4 teams in this league right now ranked in the AP top 25, 3 receiving votes. I think anytime you're going to have a top 10 team in TCU go on the road, that creates some interesting narratives. The Cougars are 12-1. Keep your eyes on the Sun Devils. Arizona State 14-0. But you've got to give credit, I think, to number 21, Texas Tech. They are ranked for the first time since 2012. They got a win 61-60 over Baylor before Christmas break. It snapped a 31-game losing streak to Baylor, and the first win that the Red Raiders have had in Waco since 2004.
Texas Tech's Snutta Collins. If you don't know that name, get to know it fast. They missed out on the sweepstakes for Aaliyah Chavez. It was down to Texas Tech in Oklahoma. They got Snutta Collins, and Texas Tech's made a large jump here in year number 4. So, all right, let's take a look at the updated standings of the Big 12 Conference. Again, this is after the first action before the holiday break. TCU, Iowa State, the 2 top 10 teams. We got to see TCU in person. Very good ball club this year, and maybe perhaps undervalued even at number 8. Is there a surprise team in this league beyond Texas Tech? You mentioned them already. Is Arizona State this team with Molly Miller? I mean, 14-0.
Yeah, she has reset that, and I think the era of Molly Miller at Arizona State is one to keep your eye on. I think I am still incredibly bullish on West Virginia, and I am bullish on Kansas. I think the Jayhawks and West Virginia, who will square off tomorrow in Lawrence, both of those teams very good. You've got the Mountaineers who are 11-2. They've won 6 in a row going into Lawrence tomorrow. And then this Kansas team, they had a 79-76 loss to Iowa State right before the break, but they're still a 10-3, and they won 4 in a row in December prior to that loss to the Cyclones. I really like what both of those teams have. West Virginia is going to make your life miserable. Can Kansas handle it? It's going to tell us a lot about both of those squads tomorrow.
No doubt. Great game between KU and Iowa State that was played earlier before the break up at Ames. Jayhawks had every chance to win that game and upset the Cyclones on the road, but couldn't pull it off. Last second 3 did them in. Right, take a break here. We'll come back, and when we return, highlights from the first half. We'll recap keys to victory, get you started for the third quarter. Now, former Wildcat football player and current member of our broadcasting team here at Kansas State, Deshaun Fogel, who helps us out with football coverage. Also here, checking out the K-State women's basketball game today. Part of the defense that won a state championship with Manhattan High football here in the Little Apple this year in the state of Kansas. Anyway, Defense has been the name of the game here early on, Missy. As we look at these first half highlights, what have you seen?
Well, just 28-28, all tied up, but the offensive rebounding for Cincinnati, a huge factor in that first 20 minutes. They had 15, and they got 14 points in the paint. Opportunities arise, and then it's Maya Perry for Cincinnati. The senior had 9 points. She was a 3 of 11 from the floor. Not just a three-point shooter, you've got to contain her off the dribble drive as well. For Kansas State, the freshman Jordan Spicer, 7 points, 5 rebounds in the first 20 minutes, scoring in multiple ways. That's exactly what you have to do. Step back, be ready to shoot the basketball. But it was the defensive stands in the paint that held Cincinnati just 28% from the field in that first half. Great help side defense, movement, blocks, a little bit of everything keeps this thing locked at 28. And now what will be the answer for both of these teams? What adjustments are these coaches going to make at halftime?
Good first half for Cotton. Again, K-State having to play a lot of that first half without one of their post players in Nastia Claessens, the Belgian national team member. And so with her back, can Cotton get loose as well in front down low for K-State?
I think if you're the Wildcats, you got to continue the movement, and that's where some of the struggles were, is you just can't stand. But better ball movement and the possessions in which they had the extra pass, that's where they had success. And you've got to force this Cincinnati defense to really have to move, to get in the trenches and have to guard you in the half court.
All right, let's go back to your keys to victory. Do these things change based on what we saw in the first half, or is everything still the same?
Well, if you're Cincinnati, you hold Kansas State to just 28 points. You got to like those numbers. But again, they're going to have to be in the right position. You got to work on handling those ball screens. They themselves, they are better when they make that extra pass. Multiple times that ball stuck, long, deep threes, a couple shot clock violations. Those are the turnovers they cannot have. If you're K-State, you've got to find a way to keep this Cincinnati squad off the glass. The 15 offensive rebounds, those are backbreakers, and the disrupt and deliver. We know the turnover numbers are high. When you get those miscues by Cincinnati here in the second 20 minutes, you got to take advantage, whether it's to push pace, to get out in transition, maybe those secondary breaks where you find your shooters in the corners. That success throughout the course of the non-con, it translates here now into Big 12 play.
K-State will make a change with their group to begin the second half. Brandy Harrod will not be out there, but it'll be Tess Heel instead. Heel providing a little bit of a calmer presence so far in this game for K-State.
13 minutes in that first half, and I think giving the Wildcats a boost, whether it was defensively, but sometimes it's just to be able to have kind of that calm, cool, calm, and collected, an experienced player to understand and handle the pressure that they see from the Bearcats.
Tess Heel up top with it for K-State, down to Cotton, working against Thomas. A cutting Claessens on the receiving end, lays it in. Cincinnati gives up a bucket, and that's K-State's first lead since 4-0 at the beginning of the ball game. As to what Cincinnati wants to do here in the second half, we'll get that in a moment from Hannah Whetstone. Perry in the paint, couldn't get it to go.
And that's a great look. You break the pressure, you get the ball in the middle of the floor, and then in the hands of Maya Perry.
Corner three from Claessens. 5 from Claessens in a burst to begin this third quarter.
The difference maker, why it's so important for her not to be on the bench in foul trouble, but to be on the floor for K-State.
And then a turnover forced as Thomas couldn't handle it. Here's Heel all the way to the basket, leaning in, no, but a foul call and a much more aggressive and up-tempo K-State to begin this third quarter.
Well, one of the things we always talk about, you control your energy and your effort. And I think both of these coaches probably thought their teams played with solid effort and energy. They just felt disjointed in that first 20 minutes. Now all of a sudden you get a couple turnovers, you get a quick bucket, a great three, and this momentum building for Kansas State with Tess Heel at the free throw line.
Heel adds to her line with a free throw. Now 6 points off the bench for the transfer from Stanford, who played in 30 games a year ago. One of the few on K-State's roster that has Division I experience. All right, let's hear from Hannah Whetstone on what Katrina Merriweather hoped to see from her Cincinnati team that has not happened so far.
Well, thanks, Brian. I caught up with Coach Merriweather coming out of the locker room. Reflecting on the first half, she told me she was happy with the team, the way her team played defense, but was disappointed on the offensive end in her team's shot selection. Now, looking at the second half, she said her message to her team was simple. Guys, it's 0-0. She wants to see her team have disciplined offense and continue their defensive effort from that first half.
And that goes right to what you had mentioned earlier, Missy, about the shot selection. The passing sometimes had led it to be not great. So far, 2 decent looks for the Bearcats, but K-State beating the Bearcats down the court, and again, it's Classens, this time with the pass.
And another turnover now by Cincinnati, and this pressure has caused the Bearcats fits. And Katrina Merriweather is going to have to take a timeout to talk about it. Not at all the start on the road they wanted, but Kansas State capitalizing. And they pulled ahead here to start the second half.
Well, the last 4.5 minutes of actual game time, K-State has ripped off an 18-2 run to take the lead here on the Bearcats. And the energy level, I will just say, for K-State in this third quarter, much different than what we saw in the first half.
Well, you got to build momentum, and that's what they've been able to do. You get a couple turnovers, you have some misses by Cincinnati, and you take advantage, and it gets the crowd into it, and you can build off of that. This is where, if you're the Bearcats, they need to stop, and if you're K-State, you want to continue to keep your foot on the gas.
Classens has been a thorn in the Bearcats' side since she returned after not playing much of that first half. Garcia all the way to the basket. Got a good look, but missed the lay-in. Then trying to outlet, Billy throws it away, and a travel committed by Torrance.
And we have seen the ability of Kylie Torrance, the 6'2 freshman, to sky high and get a couple big-time rebounds, but so much of it is body control and to be able to handle the basketball and then to keep the possession. Yet another careless turnover, and those are the backbreakers that we've seen for the Bearcats.
Jump stop by Sides. Cotton, the patented jumper does not go. Torrance yet another rebound. She's coming off 11 in the game against Oklahoma State. That is her game, getting on the glass, but as you said earlier, did not score in that game. Back to the zone for K-State. They have bounced in and out of this defense. Alexander is in, working her way through the paint against Cotton. Couldn't score. The rebound to Janessa. They took away one of the fouls on Alexander in the first half, so she only has 2 at the moment. Side to the drive, and she finally gets the whistle she had been looking for from Reagan Jackson.
Great decision by the junior, though. If they're going to play you that tight, you've got to force action, and you've got to try to blow by your defender. Reagan Jackson, she's not going to give her room to shoot the 3. They know she wants to put it on the floor.
Drive and a kick, sides an open 3. That goes. Sides to double figures for the 7th time in 8 games. And a 5 count on the inbound by Alexander. Another turnover, 17 now for Cincinnati, and a gap goat already for K-State in the third. That gap goat raised by K-State when they get 3 consecutive stops on defense.
Would not have asked for a better start if you were Jeff Mittie and his staff coming out of halftime. We heard him talk to Hannah Whetstone. He was not at all happy with the effort and what he saw on the floor, but this has been a much better 3 minutes.
Good look for Heel, unable to hit it. Heel hit a 3 earlier. Jackson will run the point. Perry had a great start, but has been quiet lately. And outside's trying to get up tight on Jackson. Commits the foul.
Trying to force kind of in that jump and run mentality. As you see a ball handler turn their back, use the spin move, you want to come up behind, just too much contact from Terrence Sides, but different looks defensively continue to fluster and keep this Bearcat offense at bay.
Alexander with it on the wing. Cincinnati now going through a bit of a dry spell on offense. They have not scored in the third. Touch pass to Ndiba. Left short, trying to fight for the rebound, and it's out of bounds to K-State.
It was the right look. They had it on the ISO. You get the ball to the middle of the floor against the zone. That's exactly where it has to be. And then you get behind it, and that's where Ndiba was, just couldn't get it to go. And these are the possessions. If you're Katrina Merriweather, they have plagued this Bearcat squad over the course of the last few weeks.
Heel on the wing. K-State getting zoned now. Garcia back to Classens. She's hit one early already. The third, she'll hit another. Classens with 10, 8 in the third quarter.
The impact that Nastia Classens makes on this Kansas State offense. huge. She's also been a stalwart defensively, playing with 3 fouls. Didn't play much in that first half, but has made an impact here in the second.
Just 7 minutes in the first half for Claessens, and what a difference the Belgian and former WNBA draft pick has made for K-State. Drive by Jackson, no, but she gets the foul on Cotton, and that'll be the 3rd on Janessa Cotton.
That's one of the few times here early here now in this second half that we've seen Cincinnati be able to split the Kansas State defense and get downhill and look to attack at the rim. Reagan Jackson is headed to the free throw line, top 5 in the Big 12 in free throw percentage, 82% for the junior, who's been a leader, great work ethic, one of those players for Katrina Merriweather that we've been talking about here throughout this game, that she started every game this season, was a starter a year ago. So many new faces and the youth on this Bearcat squad. You've got to have veterans that understand it. Getting to the free throw line, knocking down free throws when your team needs to be able to kind of squelch the momentum, that's a leader right there.
Jackson makes the first points in 6.5 minutes of game time for Cincinnati, dating back to the end of the first half with 2 free throws, and ends the 15-0 start by K-State and a 24-2 run. Now a turnover by Harrod, who just got into the game. Jeff Biddy has his head buried in his hands at the other end. Claessens trying not to commit foul number 4. Let's Torrance get another rebound and put it in for her first basket. Back-to-back buckets.
She may well have very much just avoided that 4th foul. There was a lot of contact on Torrance when she went deep.
Spicer left open in the corner, and she'll hit her second 3. And she now is in double figures. It's an 18-4 third quarter. Wildcats hit 4 threes in the first half out of 12 tries. They're 4 out of 5 from behind the arc here in the third quarter. Torrance with back-to-back buckets. Wide open on the other end. Tess Heel left all alone. She'll swish it. Another in double figures. 4 in 10-point range for K-State. And 5 out of 6 are the Wildcats from behind the arc. And Alexander, too much of a head of steam, turns it over. 18 turnovers by the Bearcats send us to a timeout. What a performance. K-State fans on their feet in Bramlage. The Wildcats started to hit the 3-ball. And they're up big on the Bearcats on ESPN+.
Welcome back to Big 12 basketball here on ESPN. Well, Kansas State has one of the youngest rosters in the country this season, with 10 of their 13 players being either true freshmen or sophomores. Now, head coach Jeff Mittie says, we see how talented this young group is. He says the next 6 weeks of practice and Big 12 play will be critical for the group. He says overall they've done a pretty good job. He says the young team improves every day, crediting their hard work.
And we've seen it in this game, and both of these coaches, listen, when we talked to both of them, they kind of chuckled about how similar they are. They could probably get together and have a gripe session about the joys and the pains of coaching freshmen. Great drop-off here, too, freshman Harrod, who gets her first basket. But in this one game, for both teams, we've seen the roller coaster ride that is freshman basketball at this level. Another turnover by the Bearcats.
Yeah, the extremes can go both directions, and you see it in multiple ways. Whether it's misses and a player that hangs their head just because you don't see the ball go through the basket. Turnovers, you make miscues, you have a miscommunication defensively. All of those things come into play, but this has been absolutely 2 opposite extremes as Kansas State has been able to capitalize and now outscoring Cincinnati 23-6 here in this third quarter, and they have not taken their foot off the gas.
No, and a 9-2 run to end the second added into that 23-6, 32-8. I mean, just it's been all Wildcats, and it really has been more here in the third quarter than anything. The second quarter end, yeah, they ended on a 9-2 run, but there wasn't quite the same energy that we see right now, which is what I think Jeff Biddy wanted to see from his group. Tess Heel's been a big, strong presence off the bench, 12 points. to lead K-State.
And the Wildcats have been able to make some adjustments, Brian, I think especially on this end of the floor defensively, is that we saw the pressure that they applied in the first half. But in the second half, it's been much more aggressive, and they have picked in their times to be able to bring the double team, to be able to bring a trap, to be more aggressive out on the passing lanes and out on the perimeter, and that has given the Bearcats fits here, especially in the half court.
Paige Whitted, another freshman, part of this top 10 recruiting class, in for the first time, running the point now for Cincinnati. Trying to bounce past one low, Torrance to Thomas, but it goes right out of bounds.
Yeah, Thomas wants to be able to seal on that low post, especially if you can get behind that zone, but she didn't have position, and that's yet another miscue by this Bearcats offense.
20 turnovers on the nose, but 16 of those have been in the last 2 quarters. Heel. There's still quite a bit of ways to go here in the third. Here's Taryn Sides, in and out. Couldn't hit the 3. That's one of the few misses for K-State in the frame. They had been 5 of 6 behind the arc before that shot. Maya Perry.
Perry has been scoreless here in this second half.
Whitted trying to make something happen, could not. Harad, the rebound, saves it to Suds. Head up on the attack. It's Classens looking for a third 3 in the quarter. Classens came in just 28% behind the arc and did only 8 makes, but has hit 2 in this frame.
I feel like shooting the ball with some confidence, especially as you get out in transition, taking those opportunities when they come.
Outside, stole it, and then was going to try and wing it down the court to Heel, but got fouled by Perry, who has hands on hips and some frustration.
Yeah,
Fourth foul by Perry, or by Cincinnati.
Yeah, more miscommunication, though, just I think in the system of what Cincinnati wants to be able to do. Is that you're trying to break down the zone to get to the gaps, but K-State has spread them out. They have forced them to have to try to beat them more from the perimeter than if they could get to the lane.
Spicer was trying to hit that pass to Classens, but threw it perhaps a half second too early. Now off the knee of Whitted, a simple turnover and a run out for K-State the other way. Sides missed the layup, and a late whistle will get her some free throws. And Sides will head to the free throw line for 2 as you hear the round of applause in the background. And K-State's going to welcome in the newest member of their team, Ivona Shekic. For more on Ivona, let's go to Hannah Whetstone.
Well, thanks, Brian. As we all see, there's a new face on this K-State roster, the 6'3" freshman, Ivona Shekic. She arrived on campus just 21 days ago and participated in 1 practice before K-State's December 20th matchup against TCU. We're seeing her make her debut here. As head coach Jeff Mittie said, Shekic's immediate impact will come on the defensive end, noting defensively she can give us help with rim protection. Now, with her late arrival, Mittie added that Shekic will have a limited role offensively as she works to quickly acclimate to the Wildcat system.
Slovenia national team member. Slovenia, if you're not aware, small country near Italy, near the Alps. However, she has played at higher levels of European basketball, has a lot of international experience, and showed some pretty good shot range and ability. She gets the rebound here on the miss inside. And listen, she wouldn't be playing if she hadn't made an impact already in practice in the short amount of time that she's been here. I don't think K-State's asking her or expecting her to go out there and double-digit points and rebounds, but anything inside of post presence will help.
I look at a post player, especially if someone is a freshman at her size, now starting just in the second semester, here just for Big 12 play. The role's pretty simple. You've got to play defense, you've got to rebound, and you've got to not foul. And any offense and extra boost that you get in the scoring column from her is going to be an added bonus. But I think Hannah's statement is absolutely correct. They need rim protection. If there's one thing that Kansas State is going to be lacking, and you think about the size in the Big 12 now over the next 2+ months, is you've got to be able to have someone that can lock down the paint. At 6'3", the freshman can give you that.
Certainly can. If you watch her in warm-up, she's got tremendous touch from the outside, as most European players do. She's got that long-range ability. Another rebound for Shekic. K-State had somebody wide open, Harad, up the court. They'll bring it up sides into the free throw line area. Under a minute to go in the third. It's been a dominant third quarter for Kansas State. Sides into the lane, drops it off. Shekic had to control it, didn't quite get a handle on it. Not sure she was ready for that. And her first basket will have to wait. 26-6 third quarter for Kansas State. Torrance, who's had 4 of the 6 points in this frame, unable to hit. Final 30 seconds, and almost identical between game clock and shot clock. Difference under 5 seconds. K-State will try and hold. Final word. Because of some tie-ups, they own the basketball to begin the fourth. 10 on the shot clock. Heel just winding it down. As it sides, it's Heel to the basket. Left hand layup, got it to go. Heel has 14. A 28-6 third quarter. Have the Wildcats in command in their Big 12 home opener. The 2026 NCAA Women's Final Four is heading to Arizona this spring. Starting on April 2nd, downtown Phoenix will be home to the biggest stage in women's basketball, including free events for all ages all weekend long. The semifinals will both air on ESPN on Friday, April 3rd, followed by the championship game on ABC on Sunday, April 5th. You can learn more at ncaa.com/Women's Final Four. A monstrous third quarter has K-State comfortably in front by 22 as we head to the fourth quarter. 28-6 third quarter that saw K-State go 9 of 16 from the field, 5 of 9 behind the arc, and hold the Bearcats to 2 of 12 shooting.
And just 2 turnovers for Kansas State in that third quarter. You think about the amount of times they had in the first half where they had great runs and then you turn it over on cue. Terrence Sides now with another turnover here to start the fourth. But I think that's part of the momentum piece of how this K-State team built that lead to be able to get themselves back in it.
Boyd takes it right at the defense of Ndiba, gets the foul on Allianz Ndiba, the redshirt senior. That'll be the second on her, and 4 to the free throw line. So Sides recovers after the turnover to get the steal and get it back.
And also
trying to feed Shekic for that first basket.
Yeah, but I also think part of it is the defensive effort that this K-State team had in the first half. Yeah, things are great, and you can build momentum, and you can feel so much better because you are knocking down shots, making threes, getting steals, but so much of that just generated because of the effort and the intensity I thought Kansas State had on the defensive end in that third quarter. You hold Maya Perry scoreless in the third, one of the top scorers in the Big 12. She has only got 9 points here in this ballgame. It's a big reason why it's been a struggle for the Bearcats.
Yeah, no doubt. Whitted able to race out of there with the rebound. She's going to go 1-on-3, missed the shot, and the rebound is Spicer. Perhaps not the decision you want if you're Katrina Merriweather. K-State the other way, wide open, Anaya Foy, short on the three-pointer. And the rebound saved to D. Alexander of Cincinnati. Bearcats have gone through injuries, they've gone through illness, they have this great freshman class, but much like K-State, they have not been able to have a whole lot of practice time to work stuff in for all of their good young recruits. Diva on the inside able to score up and in, and they're missing a big part of that tonight in Kalia DeVillasi, #1 player in the state of Maryland, and our top 100 recruit as well.
She was listed as doubtful, probable, I believe, as however the classification is. Not playing here this afternoon on the road, but when she comes back, she makes Cincinnati so much better.
We'll hear more about DeVillasi a little bit later from Hannah. Right now, a timeout.
Kansas State has got a boost from their bench, 28 points today. 14 of them have come from the 5'10 senior Tess Heel. The guard is 4 of 8 from the field, 2 of 5 from behind that three-point line. She's gone 4 of 4 from the free throw line as well. But her ability to not only generate from deep off the dribble penetration, but she has been a lockdown defender as well. The numbers speak for themselves, coming in off the bench to be able to give K-State that lift when at a time, especially to start this third quarter and into the second half, when they needed to find that energy and that effort. Tess Heel has brought it all day here in Bramlage.
Part of the reason she's here at K-State, a little bit of a veteran presence, although unable to get the shot off here in the shot clock violation. Joe Biddy not happy with his offense and their execution there. A turnover by K-State. Turnovers have been a story today. The Wildcats about on their average, but Cincinnati 19 of those have come, or 18 of those came over the second and third quarters. It's been a struggle for today in taking care of the basketball against this pressure defense of K-State. Perry, who's had only 3 shots in the second half. D. Alexander able to get free on the baseline. 7 for Alexander. She continues to work her way back from injury.
They've kept Maya Perry locked up. Now just 3 of 15 from the field. As you said, has not scored here in this second half. And that's one of those things that if you're Cincinnati, they've relied on all season, is for Maya Perry to be a double-figure scorer.
Caught fadeaway on the baseline. Tough shot, doesn't fall. Classens couldn't get the rebound collared. And the Bearcats come out of there with it. A lot of room, or a lot of work to be done for Cincinnati. Perry, a quick 3. Alexander, the rebound and the putback.
She had the ball off the miss on the other end, got it out in transition, and then cleans it up on the offensive glass. Just a quick snippet of what everyone has been anticipating from D. Alexander.
Classens, line drive 3 is good. And Jeff Minnie in timeout as he wants to talk things over and get things set over on the other side.
So much of this is about this team being able to make the adjustments defensively. Yes, you're playing with the lead here at home in conference play, but you cannot have the letdown. The conversation's got to be about continuing to hit those blockouts to get back in transition defense. And as they share the ball, that's where this offense has been at their best this afternoon.
It's been a struggle for Cincinnati, as we mentioned, again with the injuries and the illness, and one of their stars that they're missing is Kalia DeVillici, the freshman who was listed as doubtful in a game-time decision today. She has not played. It's unknown whether she'll be back for Colorado or not, but Hannah, that's a huge loss for the Bearcats. We'll get back to Hannah in just a minute. Torrance with the basketball against the zone look. Bird into Ndiba, working in on Cotton. And a foul on Janessa reaching in. All right, now let's go to Hannah with that story on DeVillici.
Well, thanks, Brian. You're right. It is a big loss for the Bearcats. Without freshman Kalia DeVillici missing her 4th straight game, she was a big contributor for this Bearcats offense, averaging 16.2 points and nearly 6 assists per game. Now, prior to her injury, she was just the 2nd Division I player in the last 20 years to total at least 90 points and 40 assists through her first 6 career games. Now, the other player to do that, Caitlin Clark. Now, head coach Katrina Merriweather told us she's a phenomenal individual. She's a girl's girl. She's everybody's biggest cheerleader, which is, of course, a boost for the Bearcats, you know, having her on the sidelines. But, you know, Coach Merriweather, airing her frustrations a little bit, said her absence limits what the Bearcats can do on offense, and she said we look a lot better with her out there.
It's just, you lose your floor general, it's difficult. And not only was DeVillici 16 points a game, the great defender, assist creator, leading them in assists, she played 36 minutes a game, so I mean, she's out there all the time.
Yeah, those are Iron Woman numbers. If you, especially for a freshman, she was the #1 player coming out of the state of Maryland in the class of 2025, part of this heralded freshman class. Keep in mind, at number 15 of what this Cincinnati class was ranked, 6 true freshmen, the 2nd most in the Power 4 schools. So it is youth. It is youth up and down this roster. Some new faces that they've been blending. You're bitten by the injury bug. Sickness comes at you. Your best players aren't available. And so it's a learning curve. And all of them are understanding what that role is, what it's going to look like. Certain instances, you probably have people trying to do a little bit too much. But when DeVillici can get back on the floor for Cincinnati, they will be so much better. And that's one thing that these coaches really can hang their hat on, knowing she gets back, they will be much more at full strength.
I think K-State is also in the same boat, but both of these two teams feel like the team you'll see in March is going to be much better than what you see right now. Both of these squads would be in that same boat, just with all these young players.
And it's the learning curve, and we talk about it all the time. It doesn't matter what league you're in. It doesn't matter if it's the Big 12 or you're in the West Coast Conference. When you have young players, they are learning. They're learning the speed, the physicality, what it takes to be able to compete in your conference and to do it at a high level. That doesn't just happen overnight.
The Big 12, right now, a close third toughest conference in America. As conference play wears on, it should go up. The strength of schedule for everybody will go up. Already, K-State's played the toughest strength of schedule to date, along with Utah, Colorado, and KU round up the top 50. K-State and KU, one of the 7 teams that have a Q1 win. K-State took down 13th ranked Ole Miss on a neutral court already this season.
And we would caution everyone out there, for all of you college basketball fans out there, do keep in mind that the Quad 1 classifications in women's basketball for selection committee on the team sheets are different than in men's basketball.
Right.
So don't go and compare it numbers to numbers. That is not apples to apples, that's apples to oranges. But it is within the same concept that you're looking at higher ranked teams where that gives you those bumps, and this strength of schedule and the challenges that Jeff Mittie has put in front of this K-State team, it I think is going to get them and put them in a spot where they're even better off headed into these first few weeks of conference play.
Well, they played some pretty strong mid-major teams, ones that figure to be in the mix for their conference races. San Diego State, Troy, both mid-majors that have played very well here early on. South Dakota is another. Cincinnati with a basketball. Perry trying to will this team back into contention. She hits double figures for the 14th game. All 14 games, she now has reached double figures with that three-pointer.
Yeah, the first basket, though, for Maya Perry, and the first points for her here in this second half come under 5 minutes to go in the fourth.
Klassen stepped out and found a number of those called today. So she'll come out, get a breather. 14 for Klassen's, 12 of them in the second half, 14 for Tess Hill, 11 for Sides, and 10 for Spicer. It's just the 5th time this year that K-State has had 4 in double figures. They are 3-1 in said games. Rod now guarding Perry. Hill trying to knock away a pass, and it does get taken away. Sides. Garcia to the middle of the court. A lot of shooters out on the perimeter here with Harad in the middle. Spicer, a couple of nifty moves.
We talked about it at halftime. Her ability to step back and shoot that three, it extends the defense. But when she can score in different ways, that's the versatility that you need from the freshman. She's got to bring that game in bigger bursts throughout the course of Big 12 play. You can't just be a shooter and a three-point spot up. You've got to be able to find different ways to score, keeps the possession alive, uses the pump fake, and able to finish in the paint. And when she plays that 4/5 spot, gets more minutes, finds herself with more matchups on that low block, you're going to have to be a little bit crafty, because if there's one thing you're going to see in the Big 12, it's going to be size.
Going back to that Ole Miss game, the win by K-State and St. Joseph, Spicer only hit 1 3 in that game and had 19 points. I mean, she lived down in the paint, driving to the basket as Ole Miss tried to take away the three-point shot. She made him pay.
And I think sometimes players, you have to become more comfortable with it. And a game like that is sort of the breakout. It gives you a great example. The thing coaches have been talking to you about that you can do, that they want you to do. When you see it happen and you have success, you feel a little bit better about it.
3 with 14 points now for K-State. Make it Sides with 16, and they're going to get a whistle and a stop, as Sides was going in for the lay-in.
I think they have a kick ball that's going to come off the Cincinnati player. Turnover comes. This last three by Taryn Sides with the deep three. Gets her feet set. No one to contest.
Harad then on the live action drive to the basket and lay, and you see the athleticism of Harad on display. And Harad on the free throw line. The foul was on Thomas. It is her second. Third on the Bearcats. What a second half for K-State. Harad, the mental struggles at the line continue. Garcia will get called for a foul on the rebound, her first. Harad, who has shown the ability to hit range and a good shooter, just for whatever reason, it is in her head now about free throws. A steal in the inbound by Garcia. Hill says, why not? I'll take it, and hit it. If you're not going to get out on three-point shooters like Tess Hill, they're going to make you pay. And for a team that hit just 4 threes in the first half, the Wildcats now have 12 and force yet another turnover. Timeout, Cincinnati. 28 turnovers by the Bearcats, and the Cats have made them pay with the threes.
The miscues have come in all forms and fashions, but give credit, this Kansas State defense has stayed in the full court, and they have generated easy opportunities for themselves. And Cincinnati has not had an answer here in the second half. Keep in mind, this game was knotted up 28-all starting the second half. It was a 9-0 run, ultimately going back into late into the second quarter. It was an 18-2 run. And K-State has never taken their foot off the gas, and really Cincinnati has not been able to find an answer. A lot of it is from a bunch of different lineups that Katrina Merriweather and her staff trying to figure out who might be the right fit, who could give them a spark off the bench. But K-State has had an answer each and every time. And their ability to take care of the basketball in Cincinnati, to have so many miscues, that really has been the storyline here this afternoon.
Michaela Parks is in for K-State, one of the few veterans on this team. The Wildcats will run the play for her. Parks, a three goes! The first in the career of Michaela Parks.
She's been plagued by injuries throughout her entire career, has had some setbacks even this season, but gets into Big 12 action and knocks down her first three, and now is going for a second.
Just short. Parks, a tremendous scorer in the high school ranks, just as you said, just devastated by injuries in her career here at K-State. A beloved member of the team, one of those unifiers on the bench. And it's taken her a while to get going. Spicer pouring it on. K-State zooming up to 14, now 15 made threes. 14 threes on the day.
We mentioned in the first half how it seemed as though Cincinnati had done a great job of being able to run this K-State team off the three-point line, but that has not been the case. Yet so many of these threes in the second half have been off the turnovers, long rebounds, corralling them, making the next pass, finding an open shooter in execution. All of those things have been a benefit. And Michaela Parks, she is going to be the recipient of a great assist from Terrence Sides to knock down that corner three, and it's got to feel good to see that ball go through the basket.
Another one that's been injured for a couple of years for K-State and is making their career debut today is Alexis Hess in for the Wildcats, a forward from up in Pennsylvania. Mom was stationed at Fort Riley years ago. Has some memory of that. Spicer wants another one. This one very long, couldn't get it to go. The rebound with 2 minutes to go to the Bearcats.
I think it would be, you have to go back a ways if you're going to ask Jeff Mitty and his coaching staff when the last time was that they used everybody on the bench. It's probably been a long time since, just considering players like Hess and Parks have had injury issues, have been in the redshirt situation, they haven't been able or been available. This year, now all of a sudden you reach this moment right before the new year and you've got everyone at your disposal. All of a sudden, balance and depth become a bigger part of the conversation once people start talking about this Kansas State team.
Yeah, 13 plagued today for K-State. As you see, Hess has not played in 84 games until today. Thomas made the shot, missed the free throw, but K-State will get the rebound or the loose ball and bring it back. K-State after this will have West Virginia at home on Sunday, what'll be a great ball game. 1 o'clock in the afternoon for that one, and then they'll go on the road to Houston. Cincinnati, as you look at the upcoming schedule for K-State, kind of an oddity that the Wildcats will get Houston twice in the span of a week or two. Garcia with her first points of the game. And then Cincinnati will have the road trip to Colorado. Then they get 10th ranked Iowa State and then a ranked Texas Tech team and then go to UCF's no joke. So a little bit of a tough sledding here for the Bearcats to begin conference play with this young team.
Well, and I think it just shows how deep this Big 12 conference is. When you start talking about the strength of schedule, the fact that you've got 7 teams that are part of the AP poll, 4 ranked, 3 getting votes over the course of the last week and a half. All of that just talks to the depth and the balance of this league. And each and every time you talk to coaches, what do they say? I'm going to see a different type of style every night. It's tough to get your kids prepared.
DeAlexander unable to get that pass from Perry, but Alexander has reached double figures for the first time in her career, 11 points. She works her way back into game-worthy action and coming off those injuries and all that time off, trying to get up to speed. We'll see if K-State just holds it here. They will not be able to run out the clock, so to speak. If you could draw it up, you would try and get a shot for Hess or Parks. It's Hess. She'll let go of three-pointers. In and out. Crowd wanted that one to go. 14 threes, the second most made in a game this year by K-State. They had 17 and a great win over Columbia down in Mexico. Drive and finish inside by the Bearcats, and that should just about wrap it up. Perry will end up with 14 to lead the way for the Bearcats. But 4 in double figures for K-State, led by Tess Heel, who goes for 17 points, a season high for K-State, 15 for Jordan Spicer, and 14 each for Classics and Terrence Sides. And you get Parks, Shekic, and Hess, all their first actions of the season. Hess and Shekic, the first of their career. Smiles all around for K-State. A second half, you definitely want to take a video review and keep it, not so much the first half.
Yeah, I think this was a tale of two halves, and you really have to talk about how that second half started for Kansas State with great shots, good ball movement, and then they turned up the intensity on the defense and never looked back. If you're Cincinnati, the struggles were real. They were tied 28 all at halftime, but then just couldn't find the flow. And when Kansas State took the opportunity, they capitalized on the miscues. The balance that you saw scoring-wise from this Kansas State team, that's exactly what they have to have. No one player is going to be able to carry the load in Big 12 play, but multiple people in double figures, that's a great sign for Kansas State.
They hit 7 of 11 threes in the second half and 56% overall. Let's send it to Hannah Whetstone, who's with Jeff Biddy.
Well, Coach, your offense came alive in the second half. What do you make of their overall performance?
Oh, I think it's okay. I don't. I think that we shared the ball a little bit better in the second half, made some shots early after break. We just got to play harder and we got to compete better, and that's my biggest concern right now. When we do that, we're pretty good. When we don't, not very good, and there were lapses today that will keep me up at night probably for the next couple months.
Looking at the defensive side, your team forced 30 turnovers. What did you think of their defensive effort?
Yeah, I think we've been building this full court stuff as we've gone. I think it was they're getting some confidence in it. Groups are playing harder in it, and so it's been okay.
I want to hear your reaction to this stat. Your team made 14 three-point shots. 6 players made at least a 3 in this game. What do you think about that?
Well, we'll take it. I don't know what the numbers say, but I think when we move the ball, when we take good shots, we've got good shooters. When we've been a little too hungry or we have forced those plays, like a lot of teams, you don't make as many. So hopefully we'll keep improving in that area.
All right, Happy New Year, Coach.
Yeah, you too.
Jeff Biddy's team not only has all those threes from different sources, they get some from unlikely sources like Michaela Parks, who hits her first career points as a Wildcat here today. All right, the final numbers. Goose K-State shooting numbers up a little bit. I had this note from our crack crew back in the control room. K-State started the game 4 of 22. After that, they went 25 of 45 from the field, 56%, Missy, and they had to shoot your shot percentage up. Cincinnati could not find an answer to stop the three-point game.
No, they really could. They did a great job, I thought, in the first half to run them off that three-point line, and they got out and contested. But when you get the ability and you have players that are willing to share and you make that next pass, I think the 21 assists stands out more to me really than anything else, because that you get good looks and you found ability to make the next pass and find an open shooter. And this Cincinnati squad, they struggled late, especially in that late in the third and into the fourth quarter, to make the adjustments defensively to get their rotation. And they are limited. They don't have as much depth as they would like. And Katrina Merriweather is just kind of riding the wave with her young group, just as Jeff Mitty is as well. But this K-State team found an answer in that second half, and life is so much easier when you make shots.
No doubt. For the Bearcats, listen, it's going to get better. DeVillisi will be back. Alexander, 11 points today. He's just showing the cusp of what she could bring to this team. They're going to get better. They are on the road at Colorado. K-State back at home Sunday for West Virginia. That's our next broadcast. Jesse and I will be back for that one coming up on Sunday afternoon. Hope you will join us for that one. For Hannah Whetstone, for Missy Heidrich, and our producer and director today, Chris Jordan, I'm Brian Smoller saying thank you for watching. And this reminder that all games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and are archived on the ESPN app. K-State wins it in their Big 12 home opener. This has been a presentation of ESPN.